Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for your presence in your webinar. I'm here with my colleague uh, Diogo Silva Melo and Cláudia Silva from MDS Expat.
Hello, everyone. So welcome to this webinar. So thank you, Anthony, for the introduction. So my name is Diogo Silva Melo. So I work at the office. We belong at the tax department and we assist the private clients, especially when they move to Portugal, on all the matters regarding real estate, taxes, and all the process of relocation. I work closely with Anthony, and we have here also the presence of Cláudia, our partner, who is being very helpful on the insurance part, which is an important point for all the expats that move to Portugal, especially to Porto.
Especially to Porto, exactly. That's the point. Claudia,
Yeah.
please, if you want to introduce you.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. My name is Cláudia. I'm the responsible for MDS Expat team. We treat all the requests for insurance in Portugal, in all the territory. Today we are going to talk about the insurance for the people that are coming to live in Porto. And I hope you enjoy the session. And if you have questions, please go ahead, okay, and make them in the chat. Thank
Exactly.
you.
If you had any question, any doubt, please send to us an email or a message to the chat, and we spoke after this event. Okay. So first of all, we spoke about Caiado Guerreiro. We are a multi-jurisdictional law firm that provides legal service, namely in labor law, tax law, commercial law, etc. We have commercial and industrial companies, service company for all hires activities, like banks and other financial institutions, and private clients. Okay. Beyond your technical competence, we are recognized as a company which with diversity by the guiding principle. If you want, was named the Portuguese law firm with the highest percentage of women's partner in the Arctic gender gap breaking Portugal, breaking the glass ceiling, published in Iberian Law, a very recognized magazine. We are a brief presentation of our client and price and recognition. Okay, it's just information for you. It's only for your information. Some of your clients, we are Code Fiel, Microsoft, Booking, Bank Inter. Okay, just for your information. We are recognized by Chambers and Partner in the Legal 500. Okay, so this is the principal territory, and the recognition by Chambers and Partner, by the Legal 500, and the testimonial for clients, just for your information. So we have spoken now regarding NHR statute. Diogo, please, if you want to speak about this matter.
Thank you, Anthony, for the introduction. So effectively, now we will speak about NHR tax status, which is the famous tax status that all the expats are talking about when they think about moving to Portugal, because effectively it's a tax status that was created in 2009 that grants tax benefits for the new residents. So basically, for the people that are thinking about moving to Portugal, this is really important because moving the tax residency to Portugal, you can have access to these tax benefits. So for the obtaining of this tax status, we cannot forget the fact that to obtain this tax status, you need to relocate to Portugal, which means changing the tax residency to Portugal. And for that, the first step will be to request your NIF, which is the tax ID as a non-resident. After this step, we need to obtain a Portuguese address, which can be done with a lease agreement or a real estate acquisition. Change the tax residency for that specific address, and the final stage will be the obtention of the NHR tax status that we need to do after some legal requirements are met. So the two legal requirements to obtain these tax benefits, this NHR tax status, are two: not have been a tax resident here in Portugal in the last 5 years and relocate here. So, as I indicated before, to become a tax resident here in Portugal, there are two situations that are possible: having a Portuguese address, which can be done with a property acquisition or a lease agreement that must be duly registered by the landlord, and not staying longer than 183 days. This is also important because for people that are moving from other countries, namely third countries, it's really important because we also need to be aware about the visa situation. And as I told before, and not have been taxed in the last 5 years, and moving to Portugal. The fact that the person already has a secondary home in Portugal, a vacation home, is not a question and an objection for the obtention of the NHR tax status. The tax status, NHR, is available for 10 years. So, Anthony, I don't know if you want to explain the reporting obligations.
So basically, when you come to Portugal and you are the tax statute, you are reporting obligation every year, okay? You must declare all their income on the annual tax return, okay? We need to declare all the income, the worldwide income, and you need to declare your bank abroad, okay? You need to declare only the IBAN in the SWIFT. You don't need to declare the amount of the account, okay?
Okay. Regarding the tax framework regarding the income, and as Anthony explained before, so when we change the tax residency to Portugal and when we become tax residents here, that means that we need to declare the worldwide income. During these 10 years, effectively, the foreign income will be subject to a special treatment. So here in Portugal, in the normal tax framework, progressive rates are applicable to the income, which can go up to 48% plus some extra taxes according to the amounts. But under the NHR tax status, the income can have a special tax treatment. As indicated here in our presentation, professional income is taxable at a flat tax of 20%. If it's considered as high value activity, and it depends on the list, an official list that mentions all this. So not all the positions and the activities are considered at 20% flat tax because they are not considered as high value activity. So this is a diligence that must be done before to see which is the applicability of that. The property income, you were saying, Tony?
Now, it's very important before to change your tax residency to Portugal to know it, to see the list, okay? Because we need to prepare your tax residency. For prepare your tax residency in Portugal, it's important to check your actual situation for your tax analysis, okay? It's very important to do a tax analysis before moving to Portugal, okay?
Exactly. So, and the property income, the tax applicable is a flat tax of 28%. On capital gains, there is a situation that only 50% can be taxed, and the remaining income that is not suitable to the qualification of the NHR are subject to progressive rates that can go up to 48%. So, in practical terms, that means that with the NHR tax status, most of the foreign income have tax benefits, which in some cases can be exempted or subject to special rates. And effectively, the income that is not qualified to benefit from the NHR tax status can fall under the progressive rates that can go up to 48%. We cannot anticipate this because effectively each tax profile is a tax profile, and we always recommend to analyze it before relocate to Portugal to see which is the tax exposure that will be applicable for your tax profile.
When we in your presentation, the point 3, capital gains only 50% of the capital gains. It's for real estate. Okay, so for capital gains derivate on real estate acquisition. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. We have two questions here in the chat.
Maybe in the end of the presentation, Claudia.
Yes,
Okay, it's preferable. Please, Diogo.
So, as indicated by Anthony, there is on the tax world, we need to divide by each category, and in that slide we will speak about the real estate taxation. So all the income that is related to real estates. So the capital gains, only 50% of the value is considered for that purpose, for taxation point of view.
For residents and no residents, okay?
Exactly. And the taxation is done by aggregation, which we call the englobamento, with an application to taxes that can start on 14.5%, that can go up to 48%. This is also something that is always being discussed by our Portuguese government, because effectively we have a package which is called Mais Habitação. So effectively all these elements are always being subject to changes, but in general cases, the real estate capital gains, they are taxable at 50%, okay? And other type of income, if you have income, rental income from a property in Portugal, they are other tax rates applicable, which starts in 28%, but it can be digressive with the time. So if you have, just to give you an example, if you are a landlord and if you have a property that you want to rent to someone, and if the lease agreement is more than 2 years, you can have a different tax rate. So it always depends, but there is special taxes for the real estates. And also, in some cases, regarding the real estate taxation, there are benefits from the exemption from the taxes that are applicable. So if the property was purchased before the 1st January of 1989, which was the date that was entered in force our code of the IRS on the personal income, there is also the possibility to reinvest the value on a new home, which must be done on a deadline of 24 months and 36 months. So basically, you can reinvest the real estate capital gain that you had on another real estate, but it must be your primary residence. If you are more than 65 years old or retired, there is a possibility to reinvest the product of the capital gain on a product, normally a pension fund, among others. There is a lot of products, and Claudia can also share this after. There is a lot of products that it's eligible to reinvest these capital gains. And in the end, it really depends on the tax profile of the client. But effectively, if you have a property here and you generate a capital gain and you want to reinvest, there is that possibility on our law. So there is a lot of options. The typical one is to reinvest on another real estate, or for example, on a plot to build a primary residence. So there is a lot of options. As long as you meet the legal requirements, the reinvestment of the capital gain is doable. Okay, now talking about the personal income not related to the real estate. The registration of the lease agreement here in Portugal is mandatory. So when we move to Portugal, if we rent a house to be our primary residence, we need to ask to the landlord. It's mandatory by law to register the lease agreement, which means paying a stamp duty of 10% on the first rent. And this payment of this stamp duty will confirmate before the tax authorities that the lease agreement is duly registered. The property income, normally rental income, is taxable at 28%, okay? But of course, if the lease agreement is longer than two years, for example, but this is always object to changings, it can be digressive, but normally the tax rate applicable to property income is 28%. but effectively it can be degreffed. So it depends on the time that you expect to have on the lease agreements. So a final note regarding the NHR, because I guess that most of you must have doubts, because effectively it's really common. It's an attractive tax status, which is it's attracting a lot of families moving to Portugal on a daily basis. On our case, me and Anthony, we work at the French desk, so we assist the French-speaking clients in the office, but we have been assisting clients from all over the world. And there is a lot of questions about the NHR tax status, if they are eligible.
Exactly.
Yes.
We have a first question regarding this matter, regarding the eligible. Is the NHR for everyone that have a residency in Portugal? We are USA citizens. We have a desert visa and just received a resident card for 2 years. Can I apply for the NHR? I have been reading in states for UA citizens and EA citizenship.
Okay. So we can also discuss this later, but effectively what we can advance that effectively the tax status is granted. It's not according to the citizenship or your residence. So what matters here is only the tax residence. So if you are a non-resident for tax purposes and you relocate to Portugal, and if you meet the legal requirements, not have been tax resident in the last 5 years and you move to Portugal, which I think it's the case with the visa, you can be eligible for the NHR application, which is available for 10 years. Effectively, we just need to confirm which is the tax situation, because effectively here we need to divide immigration and tax perspective.
It's important to check the date of the move of your tax residency regarding the tax authority, okay? Because if you have a DSET visa, you are at risk regarding your tax residency, because one of the requirements of the D7 and is you have your tax residency in Portugal. Okay, so we need to check in the tax authority when you move your tax residency for Portugal. Okay. Property income only for her based in Portugal. I don't understand the question. Residents only for residents in Portugal. Property income. No. It's for no residency too. If you have a house in Portugal and you don't have your tax residency in Portugal, you need to pay taxes. If you have income, of course. If you have a lease agreement register in the tax authority and you are no residency in Portugal, we need to pay taxes in Portugal. Okay.
Do you need to pay tax on house if you are living it and not renting? No, if you live on your own house and it's not rental, the only tax obligation here, if there is no income, there is no personal income applicable, but if there is the IME, which is the property tax, which is paid annually, it's according to the tax value of your real estate. I think that answers the questions.
Exactly. We need to check if you don't pay this tax the last year, okay? Because it's important to check, because the tax authority don't send a letter with this tax. We need to check your Portal das Finanças. Portal das Finanças, okay? It's your personal portal in the tax authority, okay? If you have any doubts, any question regarding this matter, we can help you.
So I would like only to complete the presentation before, just to give also the general framework. So effectively, the NHR, as I indicated before, everyone is eligible as soon as they meet the legal requirements. And effectively, each tax profile is a specific tax profile. And there is a lot. The purpose of this NHR tax status is to grant benefits for the new residents. And it depends on the qualification of the income. But just to give you a general idea, because it really depends, and you can see a lot of articles and news on internet, but effectively it depends on several situations and on the tax profile. But normally, foreign income has access to tax benefits. For example, private pensions from abroad, they are taxed at 10% flat tax. Before the state budget of 2020, it was exempted. Nowadays, it's 10%. Okay. High value activities, for example, architects, as indicated before, can be subject to a 20% flat tax. And in some cases, if it's already taxed abroad, but it depends on a tax analysis to see if you can fall under this condition, it can be exempted in Portugal. Normally, interest, royalties, and dividends from abroad, they can be exempted in Portugal. So effectively, there is a lot of tax benefits moving to Portugal. And if most of your income is from abroad, you can be subject to this and have tax benefits. The typical case, this is really important for people that apply for the D7 visa, which is for the passive income. Most of the passive income is exempted from the Portuguese point of view. But of course, there is something that requires a further analysis, because it depends on the source of the country of the source of the income, because Portugal has double treaty agreements with lots of foreign countries, but each country and each DTA has specific rules. So we need to see which is the conditions to understand which is the tax exposure here in Portugal. But the typical case, the general case, is to have tax benefits on income from abroad, which is quite positive comparing to the progressive rates that can go up to 48%.
Precisely, exactly, Diogo. If I receive the NHR when I renew my immigration status in 2 years, and I'm going to have any problem because of having the NHR before being a permanent resident, we have also responded in this question. Regarding this matter, we need to check your tax residency, the date of you move your residency in Portugal. For now, it's important to check this information. Okay. Overall citizenship eligible to apply, or is there any restriction if you are Russian? If you are Russian, we have a list in Portugal by the European Union. We need to check this list to respond for your questions. Okay. Diogo, you
I'm
want
just confirming
first?
the questions, Bina.
Be
So, being non-fiscal resident anywhere and migratory resident in Panama, which will be the regime on foreign financial rent and tax on activities. So it really depends on your tax profile, but effectively, if you meet the legal requirements to move to Portugal, if you are not tax resident here in the last 5 years and you relocate to Portugal, you can benefit from the NHR. But effectively, that requires more information about the income that you receive, to see how we can qualify the income, and also to see, because effectively Panama, from the Portuguese point of view, can be considered a tax haven, and in these cases, the Portuguese tax authorities can
Exactly.
apply a different tax rate, which is 35%, even if you have the NHR. So that's why the NHR exists. It's a good and positive tax status, but it really depends on the tax profile and the source of the income. So there is a lot of information on the internet saying that all the income is exempted, but this is not true effectively, because it depends on several aspects.
And in Portugal, we have a blacklist with all the jurisdiction considering tax haven. Okay, all this income from this country are taxed are 25%. Okay.
And
Tax
last
identification
question.
number is the same as the número de contribuição.
Número de contribuinte, I would say.
Número de contribuinte, exactly, is the same. Okay.
Is there any special benefits on tax in living in Porto, as your subject says? I thought the tax benefits are the same in Nepal. Effectively, the tax benefits are the same in all the country, okay, from the north until the south. The fact that we did this webinar focus on Porto is because effectively there is a lot of expats and families and also companies moving to Porto. There is a lot of requests about the NHR tax application and visas in Porto. So we invited this webinar to focus on Porto as a new hub of new residents here, which lately, not only for French-speaking clients, but clients from all over the world. I would say that the first citizenship in Porto nowadays, it's Americans, and there is a lot of lack of information about the tax benefits. So that's the reason we put focus on Porto. And also because there is a lot of transaction here in Porto, but the NHR tax status is available for all the country, not only for Porto.
Thank you very much for your time. We are able to have a meeting after this webinar. We are, please, if you have any question, any doubts, send to us an email. The email is here. Okay, this is mine. This is the email of Diogo and Joanna, your training layer. So now, Cláudia.
Thank you, Anthony.
What about insurance?
Yes, right now I'm going to talk about insurance in Portugal. I'm going to make a short presentation about MDS, the MDS Group. Some key facts of MDS. We have 122 million in turnover. We are leader in Portugal. We are present also in Angola, Brazil, Spain, Mozambique, Chile, Cyprus, Mexico, and US. We have 1,100,000 employees, 13 nationalities. We are present in 132 countries. This is because of Brokers Link, that is a network that was constituted in 2004, and that is based in Switzerland. And brings together brokers and markets leading independent brokers in this network. We are the only Portuguese-speaking Lloyd's broker, and we offer a global service, which is specialist in the most diverse areas of risk consulting, insurance brokerage, employee benefits, reinsurance markets, and we develop tailor-made solutions for the clients. This is our structure. We are the broker insurance. We also make risk consulting. We have reinsurance. We also have captives and alternative risk transfer. As I said before, we are present in 132 countries by Brokers Link. MDS Expat. MDS Expat is a company that belongs to the group MDS. We have 4 agencies in Vila Moura, in the Algarve, Lisbon, Espinho, that is near Porto, and in Porto. We have multilingual specialists. We speak your language, English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. We have access to all the insurance companies in Portugal and outside Portugal also, mainly for health insurance. So we do personalized codes for individual and businesses. Right now in Porto, as Diogo said, we have a strong hub here in Portugal of mainly in Porto and in Lisbon, of some companies that are coming to Portugal, mostly the tech companies, and that's here in Portugal an opportunity because the skills are very good of the Portuguese, and the conditions of work as well. Concerning products and solutions, I'm going to present some of them. Of course, we work in all the domains of insurance. I'm going to talk about workers' compensation insurance, liability, home insurance, car insurance, health, personal insurance, and life insurance. Concerning workers' compensation insurance, this is something that is mandatory in Portugal. In some countries, it isn't. Here, it is. And for the businesses, it is important to have this insurance according to the law. And as well, if you have a cleaning lady at home or a gardener, it is mandatory to have this insurance. It is something that is not expensive. We are talking about 1-2% of the income of the person in the insurance. So it's something that it covers the death or the disability of the person. Concerning the general liability insurance, this is a type of insurance that it can make part of home insurance, for example. You are covered in liability for you and the people that live in your house. As well, if you have a company and in certain types of activity, this is an insurance that is mandatory as well. It protects you against the accidents that you may cause to third parties, to others, and it's very important to have this insurance. Once again, it is not something, for example, if you want to make just a family liability insurance, it is something that for 100 euros per year, you can do this insurance. Concerning home insurance, here in Portugal right now, we have a lot of people that are coming to invest or to live, or they search us because they have a building that they bought and it's an old construction and they want to get the insurance. This is something that we recommend. Though in Portugal it's not mandatory in certain types of construction. If you live in an apartment, it is mandatory to have the fire coverage. But it's something that we recommend even if you are a tenant and you live there and you have only your contents. Because in the home insurance, as I said before, you have also the liability, which is very important. I know that in Portugal we don't have a lot of, in terms of value, the amount. It's not too much. Some of our clients said, okay, 250,000 it's not too much. Can I have more of liability? We can have in some situations and with some companies liabilities that goes up to 7.5 million euros. Okay. Concerning the car insurance, is the car insurance mandatory? Yes, it is because of the liability. And we have a lot of clients that they have their cars and their classic cars that are parked in the garage, and they tell, okay, but I don't use this car, so do I need the insurance? Yes, it is mandatory. You should have this insurance. You have the minimum capital for the liability, and that goes up to 7.290 million, but we can go just to 50 million on liability. That is an optional coverage, and that we can do this. We can do this. Then you also have in comprehensive insurance the impact, collision, the fire, the lightning, the explosion, the theft, and the robbery. As for the personal accident insurance, it's something that we recommend as well, because something can happen to you. You can have an accident, you can slip on a stair or a sidewalk, and if you have this insurance, it may cover the expenses of treatment, of repatriation, of death, of disability. It is an insurance that is not that expensive and that we recommend. We also recommend to clients that travel a lot, the travel insurance that enters in this domain, in personal accident insurance, because it can cover the luggage, the liability, the medical expenses, and the repatriation that is very important. Concerning life insurance, this is something that you can do in two bases. Either you get a loan on the bank and it's mandatory to present a life insurance for the capital that you are going to purchase the home, or that you agree with the bank. Or in case that you have your family and you have your worries and you want to guarantee an income in case of disability or death to your family. So we can do this we just need the information of the amount of years you want to do this insurance and the number of years also. This insurance, we have some modules here in Portugal also that includes, you can have this life insurance also with a saving insurance. And before, Diogo said also that you can invest the money on when you sell the home in a life insurance. Yes, we have in this domain, we have a life investment insurance, and we can do a study case by case to invest your money. Concerning the health insurance, I think this is the main question we have when foreign come to Portugal, and it's the main worry, where am I going to be treated? Am I going to have access to the public? Am I going to be in the private? How does it work, the health system in Portugal? It is mandatory to have an health insurance in Portugal. Well, if you are a non-EU resident, yes, it is mandatory to have your visa of residency to have an health insurance. Minimum of capital, you must have 30,000 euros in inpatient treatments. That means hospitalization. When you go to the CEF meeting, you must present the contract to them for them to see that you have this insurance. Then you have some options here, because we have a lot of clients that they just need a Portuguese territorial scope, because they just want something to be covered here. Some of them, they want a Portuguese and also an international scope. And some of the clients want an international scope because they travel a lot and because they don't want to be worried about where they are going to be treated, if they are going to the public, to the private, if they are in China, or if they are in the United States or in Portugal. We have all these answers. We have all these type of insurance that we can present. Each quote, as I said, is personalized. And of course, we need some information of the clients to do the quotes. The quotes are free of charge. We advise the clients, depending on the requirements and their needs. And we are here, I'm going to leave my contacts here. you have my email box and my phone number. And I think
Exactly. You have some questions,
I have
Cláudia.
some questions. Okay.
Can we get this presentation after the webinar? Of course, and we send the presentation for all the participants.
Yes, of course. I have a life insurance in my country. Is there any way to unify the life insurance if we applied for another one in Portugal? Well, we just need to see your contract, what you have in the United States, and of course we can look and to advise you on this matter.
Okay. Thank you very much for your participation. If you have any doubt, any question, please send to us an email. And thank you very much once again.
Yes, thank you very much for your participation. We are at your disposal for any clarification, and we wish you a great day.
Yes, thank you very much. And well, send all the questions, contact us, feel free to send us an email or to call us. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.